everybody, welcome back to Actions Talk. This is episode number 25. This week I met up with John Leaf, a Milwaukee resident who's writing a book about nicknames and the stories behind them.
This whole project, Blake, has really taken on a life of its own. I've always been fascinated by etymology, which is the study of words and why they mean what they mean. But the topic of nicknames in particular has always been really fascinating to me. I've always loved people's nicknames. I think they're neat, but they're powerful. Labels are powerful things. Naming is a powerful thing.
So you're using the website to collect the stories?
Yeah, absolutely. And so what I've done is I've set up a website, and again, like I said, this project's really kind of exploded and taken on a life of its own. And so I got the website up and running, and I'm trying to get the message out about it. But really, again, the concept is about nicknames and how powerful they are, and the intimacy of them. Nicknames are powerful things. They can liberate. They can be something you struggle with all your life to overcome. What if you get a nickname you don't like? How do you overcome that? The topic is ageless, it's genderless, it's neutral, it's fun, it's casual. And the really neat thing is, anytime I ask somebody to tell me a story about their nickname, you get to know the person a lot better. And that's really, really pretty neat. And so whether kids are 7 or 8 or 70 or 80, everybody's got a story. They come from everywhere. Music, sports, the playground, college, they're everywhere. And they're powerful things, and they're a lot of fun. I'm starting to go to nursing homes because I think there's some great stories there that need to be captured before people kind of disappear. I want to start going to fire stations. I want to go to coffee shops and do man on the street kind of thing. You can collect nickname stories anywhere, but I'm trying to go out and not only rely completely on the website to collect all the stories, but do a lot of in-person things as well, absolutely. I'm going to look at the secondary data as well. I mean, I think after a year or so, it'll be fun to find out what the most popular nickname was in 2009, if they're dividable by gender, age, most common nicknames at the end of the year. The process about how all this came about, I think, is as interesting as the story itself, and I definitely wanted to touch on that and share that as well. I mentioned this thing keeps taking on a life of its own, and so I don't have any specific attachment to outcome. I mean, I do on the business side, but I just kind of kept following the breadcrumbs and a couple of neat things around that. So I get the website up and running, and sure enough, the guy that's helping me host the website knows somebody that's a book publicist. So he said, hey, you've got to contact her. So I contact her, and she said, hey, this is a great idea. She said, as a book publicist, I look for 2 things. A topic that nobody's ever really addressed, because she said, if you're writing a book about marriage or relationships, I'd hang up on you. There's a million of those.
Right.
And she also said that I need passion. And she said, clearly you have a lot of passion around this, and she said that's really important as well. So she was very quick to support it, and she said, this is a great idea. And then she gave me the name of a book agent down in Arizona, so I called him, and he validated the concept. While I was talking to the book agent or publicist here in Milwaukee, she also said, hey, you want to become known as the nickname guy, bringing it back to the point of business.
Right, getting a brand together.
Getting a brand together around being called the nickname guy. And she said, and the minute she said that, something resonated and kind of stuck. And I said, I'm not big on labels myself. I don't specifically have a nickname, but I understood what she was saying and that it made sense. And so, honest to God, the next morning I'm having a cup of coffee with a buddy of mine that doesn't know about the meeting the day before, and he goes, dude, you got to become known as the nickname guy. So, here the universe is talking to me through these 2 people saying, hey, there's something around that. So I went to register.com, where I protected the URL and bought the nicknamestories.com, and sure enough, the nickname guy was still available. And I bought that, and the lady at register.com said, you don't understand. She said, most URLs that are that generic with .com after are long gone.
Sure, yeah.
And so clearly the universe and this thing taking on a life of its own, the process, and then I ran into a buddy of mine that works at a local radio station, does a thing about music, and I said, hey, have you ever thought about talking about nicknames in music? And he's like, that's a brilliant idea. And so he was willing to plug the website on WKLH, which is a local radio program here, FM station here in Milwaukee, and again, just following the breadcrumbs, no specific attachment to outcome other than wanting to publish the book and a couple of other business ideas I can talk about, and again, that's how and why this thing's taken on a life of its own. One of my favorite stories to date is there's a guy out in Colorado, 85 years old, his name's Stuart Gordon, and Stuart, among other things, as I understand it, was one of the founders of the Peace Corps, and really a neat guy and kind of the real deal, and lives up in the mountains, kind of an eccentric guy, but everybody in Colorado knows him because he's still a ski instructor at 85.
Wow.
And so anyway, when Stuart was a young man, he was a fighter pilot in World War II. And he got shot down over Europe, and he had to eject, and obviously lived to tell about it. But at some point during the ejection and falling to earth, he was trying to pull his ripcord and it wouldn't open, and he was fearing for his life. And finally, in a moment of clarity, God kind of broke through the cloud and said, hey, pull the ripcord one more time. So he kind of got himself settled, pulled the ripcord, obviously landed safely and lived to tell about it. Well, the interesting thing from a nickname perspective is this. A farmer in Europe found his boots. Somehow when he ejected and fell to earth, his boots came off. And this farmer finds these boots, but can't find a body. And he's like, what in the world's going on? So somehow Stuart lands, gets reconnected with the farmer in Europe, gets his boots back, comes back to the States, and ever since then, for the rest of his life, he's been known as Boots Gordon. And so really the beauty of that story is I guarantee you, Blake, that there's people that live in Colorado that have had him for a ski instructor, and everybody at the coffee shops and the ski shops will say, hey, do you know Boots Gordon? And they'll say, absolutely. Do they know his first name? Maybe not. Part of my driving interest in this from day one was the intimacy of nicknames. Because again, you can talk to people and run into them at dinner or at a bar or anything else, and if they have a nickname and they're willing to share it with you, I guarantee you, you're going to connect and bond with them in a way that you couldn't any other way. And so it's really, really a lot of fun. The stories keep coming in, but so get out there and post one.